Everybody wants some blast of magic, 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 magic. Oh, I got the magic in me.
Alright, it's time for Magician 101, episode 2. This episode we're going to talk about picking stuff for when you go on stage and perform. I mean picking things like your costume, your character, your name. So let's go into that right now. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is you decided after watching last week's episode to become a full-time magician who's going to go on stage and perform like every week. Well, you need to know a couple of things. You want to first get a stage name. If you go Google your favorite celebrity, you're going to find out 9 times out of 10, the name you know them by is not their real name, and they've changed their name for stage. Singers, dancers, actors, actresses, musicians, comedians, magicians, a lot of them change their name, and they don't have their real name. Some people keep their real name, like the magician who used to run Barry's Magic Shop. His name's Barry Taylor. He uses his real name, Barry Taylor, when he performs. It's the magic of Barry Taylor. Some magicians, though, don't use their real name. We have a magician named Peter Wood, who is a local magician. His name is Shazam Magic. That's his magic name, Shazam Magic. So it's up to you. Do you want to use your real name or do you want to use a stage name? Some tips on what to do. If you have a short name, use your real name if it's a good one. Now, I'm not going to offend anybody, but if your name's Smith, that's a common name. People won't remember it as easily. So don't like Taylor, Barry Taylor. Taylor's not a really common last name. You don't see too many people with the name Taylor. So it's like, that's a name you'll remember. But if you got the name Smith or John, it's as your last name, like Barry John or something like that, it's like, okay, well, because you'll forget. It's like, oh, that guy Barry Jones, John, I don't know. And then they'll forget your last name. But, so pick a name. If you've got a common name, change your last name or pick a magic name like Shazam Magic, that it's not even your real name. If you use your real name, fine, great. If you use another name like Shazam Magic, a key is to definitely Google your name. So let's say you pick a name, Shazam Magic, for instance. Go Google that, and you'll see if there's already a Shazam Magic out there. Go talk to them. Send them a message and say, wait a minute. I see your name, Shazam Magic. I don't live in Maryland, but I live in California. Can I use that name? Because some people might have a copyright or a trademark on their stage name. And if they already have that and they find another person who's already using their name, they might come and sue you. Or they could. That's a little extreme, but they could do that. Or they could come to you and say, you need to change your name. And if you already got a website going, or you've got business cards, or you do whatever, you got to change your name, that's a lot of an inconvenience. I had a different name before I had my magic name, and I had to go and change everything, and it's like, oh my God, that was a time-consuming process. Because, well, my old name used to be Young Bob the Magician. Well, I'm 22, I'm not that young anymore. I'm only going to get older, so I wanted to change my name to something else. I won't give out my real stage name that I'm using now, just because I don't want you all stalking me. So don't even ask for it, because I'm not going to give it to you. Let's see, where was I going with that? Oh, yes, so I just lost my train of thought. I hate when that happens. But to pick a name and make sure it's not already in use, because some people might have a copyright on their name. And also, you're going to lose out on a website. If you make a website for your name, like if you use Shazam Magic, there's already a ShazamMagic.com. So maybe you want to have a .com name if you do a website. Then you might want to think about changing your name to one that's not in existence. So Google your name first. Make sure it's not a name that like billions of people are already using, or it's not already copyrighted or trademarked. Now you've already picked your name, you could have a catchphrase or a tagline. My tagline, now, you're not going to really understand why my tagline works unless you know my stage name, so I'm not going to tell it to you, but my tagline is the best thing since sliced bread. And you'll understand that. You'll understand why that works if you know my name, but I'm not going to tell it to you. So that's a tagline. You can use that on like your business cards and your website. A catchphrase. We have a guy who runs our magic shop at the Maryland Renaissance Festival. His name's Mike Rose. And his catchphrase is the magic kind of guy. And every time he asked the audience a question, he would say, the audience has to respond back by saying, yes, magic kind of guy. So that's his catchphrase. Also his tagline, too. So it's both. So catchphrase and a tagline, you want to have something like that. Can be just be a tagline, can be a catchphrase worked into your show as well, but have an idea as either a tagline or a catchphrase. Now I want to talk about picking your outfit and your character. First thing you want to do is you want to pick your character before you pick an outfit. What does that mean? Well, picking a character works like this. You want to figure out what kind of magician you want to be. My style of magic is I am the embarrassed failed magician. That's what I want to convey to my audience. So basically what that means is I either get embarrassed doing tricks or the trick doesn't work right. Let me explain. I have a trick where I have two silks, tie them together, put them in my pants, the two spectators pull the ends of the silks, my underwear comes out. Oh my gosh, I just got embarrassed. That's the embarrassing part. The trick doesn't work right is like this trick here on my little shelf here. This trick is called the clatterbox, where there's a silk inside of this box, you make it vanish, and they open the box again, and it falls to the floor in a billion pieces. That is a trick that it makes me feel like I failed, okay, and because the box breaks, but, you know, that kind of thing. Or when a trick doesn't come out right, but it doesn't come out right in the beginning, but comes out right at the end. That's kind of my style of magic. You can pick any style you want. If you don't want to do a style of magic like that, you can also pick a character to be. Like, let's say you want to be a pirate, and you want to do, like, you want to have your set background be a pirate ship. You can be a pirate magician. You could be a, something, whatever you decide to choose. But choose a character that is unique. You don't want to be like every David Blaine or David Copperfield out there. You know, you don't want to be David Blaine and every time you do a trick, you want to stare off into the camera. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Be unique and be original. That's the best thing about magic is to have fun. Have fun with it. There's really, honestly, you just want to have fun with it. If you're having fun with it, your audience is going to have fun with it. That's the big thing, too, is these tips are to help you along, but the main goal is to have fun with it and your audience will have fun, too. Okay, now, if you're not a character magician, like you're not a pirate or you're not an astronaut or whatever, you want to pick your costume you're going to wear. Now, if you're a pirate, dress like a pirate. You're an astronaut, dress like an astronaut. But if you're doing like just a regular magician, you want to dress in a certain way. Dress professional. Now, I used to dress in a shirt that had a big wizard on the front of it, having beams of light coming out of his hands in a forest. And I used to wear jeans. I got so much ridicule from other magicians for that, saying that's not a proper attire to wear. You can't wear that. Stop wearing that. It's not professional looking. So I did change it. Now, when other magicians tell you to do something, they're going to tell you to do it until you do it. Magicians are so pig-headed, and most magicians are so pig-headed. Let me put it that way. There's a couple local magicians who would not back off me until I changed my costume. Which, honestly, they did not give me any constructive criticism. All they said was, it's not right, change it. It looks terrible. And that's all they would say. They wouldn't give me any help. They just were like, change it. So I changed it. What did I change it to? Now I wear khaki pants, a white button-up shirt, a red bow tie, and this jacket. You've probably seen it in some of my other videos. It's a red and white striped jacket. Now, I chose this jacket, and here's a good tip for when you're performing. You want to pick an outfit that is going to be different than anything else around you, especially if you're performing on the street. That's the big tip. Wear a red and white striped jacket when you're performing on the street. You're going to look a hell of a lot different than anything else around you. Sorry, I just said hell. I know. But you're going to look a lot different than anything else around you on the street. So you want to wear something that's going to look a lot different than anything else around you. Unless you're standing in front of a TGI Fridays, then that's going to look a little... That's a color joke. That's a joke for these red and white colors because they have red and white. But anyways, so pick something that's going to look uniquely different. You could go with this. This is kind of my style. I love to use the red and white jacket. But you can use whatever you want. And so it's really, really cool. You can use whatever you want. Wear whatever you want. But just as a heads up, if you wear jeans, most magicians take that as unprofessional. Don't wear jeans. It looks unprofessional. It looks stupid. I can't pull off a full 3-piece suit. I feel so stuffy and like I'm locked up in it. So that's why I wear a button-up shirt and a jacket. It makes me feel a little bit more freer when I do my magic, to do gestures and to do, you know, a bunch of other stuff too. So, I mean, honestly, I'm gonna give you some advice here. Those magicians who told me to change my costume, you can decide to listen to them or not. If you're start doing your magic and people tell you to change what you wear, I mean, you can go with them or you can do your own thing, but you're going to get ridiculed. I mean, maybe the magicians are nicer in other parts of the country, but I know a few magicians here in Maryland really got on me about what I wore. And I'm just like, come on, guys, that's my style. But then I had to completely rechange my character and my style to fit my new costume. So, you know, that's kind of the thing, and, you know, just kind of some tips on, you know, really to choose a few certain things. In the next week's video, Magician 101, we're going to talk next week about how to promote yourself. That's the question I get asked a lot from people just starting out in magic. And you'll be surprised how much I get this question from people on YouTube and some other magicians I know who have just started out. They ask me, how can I get to do more shows? I'm going to talk about that next week on Magician 101. See you then.